transitioning to our live tarot card reading that Mel's going to do, a 2-card tarot card reading to talk about the energies for next week.
Mhm. Yes. Okay. So I like to do 2-card reading. What's coming in is the first card, and what's coming is sort of like, what's approaching us. What can we expect? Also, sort of what can we think about embracing, right? Because sometimes new things come in, sometimes new ideas or just understandings come in, and we want to resist them, but resisting them really kind of, like resisting the acceptance of a reality is not the way to make the progress that you want to make, right? So what is coming in at this time? I want to say, there's a little bit of a vibe of like, I'm so tired of the same old, same old. I'm so tired of these experiences I have been having, right? But at the same time, you see this hand coming out of nowhere, offering a new experience, offering a new sense of connection. And so that's, I think, what is coming in. Like, yeah, we are a little bit tired of the same old, same old. Some of us are more surprised than others about what's going on in the world right now. But, we've all been through this before. And now we're getting a new opportunity to take a look at it, see how we feel about it, and how we're going to react to it, right?
Yes. And I think that this is also asking us to I don't know, be mindful of the shit that people are feeding you. Like, be mindful of how much emotional taking on everybody else's stuff, like just that person sitting there like I am very apathetic. I think it's the Gen X in me. I'm really not happy with a lot of my choices. And sometimes those choices are out of my control, unfortunately. Like I can't eat certain things or I'm allergic to certain things. And so I get really apathetic about my choices. Like I only have 3 or 4 places that I can eat at. And maybe, like one of those is just a little bit better than the other 3. So I think, along the lines with what Mel said, I think that there's some better stuff coming in. And also you just watch for the bitter stuff coming in.
Yeah.
Because we can be bitter. Like it's kind of like, you go into your boss and being like, can I have a 25-cent raise? And they turn around and be like, I'll give you a 25-cent raise in another 3 years. And
Right.
you're like, am I going to take that shit or not? It's like, am I going to take that? And those cups are full of, like they could be full of something that you're drinking, like don't drink the Kool-Aid or you're not happy about the Kool-Aid that's being given to you. It can be about somebody else's intuitive processes. It can be somebody just emoting or someone else's emotions that are kind of coming your direction and you're really not sure how to handle it or what to
Mhm.
do, especially when it's coming out of nowhere. Like this is just coming at you. So
Right.
I can tell you right now, the best thing to do is not to sit there and cross your arms, though, because that looks defensive. And it certainly doesn't look like an open person if someone's coming to you to kind of just, vent or whatever.
Mhm.
So if you do have that person coming to you and they're overly emotional or they're feeling it and they're just not able to really regulate it, just know that that's not your problem. And it can be irritating, but just to be as kind as you possibly can and dug out in that nicest way possible.
Yes, I think what you were pointing to is like the emotional labor people ask us to do for them.
Yeah.
I've had workmates in the past who, they get pretty upset about something that's going on in their life, and probably for a good reason. But then they bring it to work and they talk, only about the terrible things that are happening for them, and you're supposed to sit there and process it with them and listen and be a support. Don't do that if you don't really want to. Like you can be supportive just by being present and say, "Hey, I am glad you made it in today. Thank you for being here." And
Right.
then get on with your work. But it's entirely up to you how much emotional labor you're going to do for other people.
Right.
So
And
that's go ahead.
sorry, I'm sorry. One thing I want to say about that is when I have people like that, I often have people just out of nowhere message me about something like, I think Mel is the same way, like something like serious and emotional, I offer a service in my inbox or in my text messages that is a venting. Like you can start off and say vent or rant and then just go and I will read it. I don't respond. It means I don't respond. It just means I need to tell somebody that's not going to judge me. I just need to get it out.
Yeah.
So like that's always a great opportunity to help a friend or family member or someone who's in need to just let them, just let them say what they need to say or type what they need to type. And then just, you don't even have to read it. Just
Yeah.
make sure that you have some, guidelines about that. Like, hey, you can get in my inbox and rant about this all day long and I won't read it. I just want you to feel better. I can't,
Yeah.
like I can't help you right now, like, or something
Mhm.
like that. Maybe not. I can't help you right now, but maybe I'm not in a position right now to hear this, but I would really love for you to put this in here as a vent, like,
Right, and you may not need somebody to really, like, give you any feedback over it. You may just need to say it all, out loud, so to speak, so that, it makes more sense to you as well as, you've got somebody there to just look at it and go, "Man, that sucks. I'm sorry," you know?
right.
Okay, so that's what's coming in, an opportunity to think about the emotional labor that we're doing, an opportunity to be helpful without having to, engage ourselves fully necessarily, and also just an opportunity like to think about the experiences we've already had and sort of measure that against the experience that's coming, the next experience we see coming down the pike, so that we can say I think I'm gonna have some of that, or I think I'm not gonna have any of that, right? So, on the going outside of this reading, what is leaving us? What can we release? What can we let go, right? I was talking about that a little bit earlier, just in terms of the sun being in Pisces and all these things coming to an end of the zodiac. Okay, so endings and beginnings, you never see one without the other. So what is coming to an end? What do you notice is coming to an end, and how can you let go of it? But mostly just what's going out? What's going out right now?
The Pope.
The Queen
The
of
Queen of
Wands.
Wands.
The Queen of
Well,
Wands.
well, she might be going out for a little ride about to hit somebody with that wand, but she's actually coming in. Like, but I'll let you go ahead. I was like, well, that Queen of Wands is not going out, and if she
Well,
is, she's going out to
here's
raise
what I'm
hell.
asking myself right now is what does the Queen of Wands let go of? Okay. What does she
Right.
disregard? What does she release? Okay. And the Queen of Wands for me is a sign of shadow work. It's a sign of like sort of
Mhm.
facing your fears and working on the things that you really struggle with, so that you can, be a better example in the world, be your best and brightest self in the world. And part of that is, sort of making friends with the shadow, making friends with the parts of us that we're not necessarily proud of, coming to terms with the parts of us that, or the things that we've done or said that we're not necessarily proud of. Okay. So what she does in letting go, okay, and it's not just releasing or getting rid of those things that she's not proud of. What she does is she sort of befriends them, and she lets them be around and be a part of her life to inform the way she behaves in the world. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they have to be the thing, like she's not the black cat, she's the queen.
Right.
She lets the black cat be, because what are you going to do with that black cat? You're just going to have to love it and keep it and take care of it, so it doesn't become um, an annoyance or a problem for you.
Right. So maybe it is that we're getting rid of the ego that goes along with our self awareness. That we're not, like just knowing our shadows, our shadow self and the things about ourselves that aren't quite as bright.
Mhm.
Yeah. I also feel like it's like stop being passive aggressive. Like stop poking people just because they're poking you. Oh, maybe
Well,
that's just me.
it also might just be like let go of really aggressive impulses at this time,
Mm,
because really
mm,
aggressive
mhm.
impulses definitely coming up with Venus retrograde in Aries, with Mercury in Aries, a lot of things trying to push out of Pisces into Aries and get started. Okay. So there's some discernment to apply between what's assertive and what's gonna make a good start. and what's aggressive and what might
Mhm.
not make the best start, right? Like if we show up in certain ways that are fiery and impulsive, uh, it sometimes gets us pushed back, right? It sometimes sort of slows us. We think we can make fast progress, and we get really aggressive about it, and then we realize, oh no, that's not the way people want to see us behaving, and people are going to push back when they see you being aggressive. So let's have some discernment right now between what's assertive,
Mm.
what can have a positive outcome as a result of our actions, and what's just aggressive and might face more pushback. Right? When Mercury's in Aries, well, Mercury is always thinking about efficiency, but Mercury in Aries really wants efficiency because it wants to get things done, started and done, speedy, quick. Right? So we just want to. I think we just want to discern the difference between making positive, assertive moves and making aggressive moves that people are going to push back against.
Right. It seems like making aggressive moves right now is just being aggressive. And um, the astrology doesn't say that you're going to necessarily go anywhere. Like you might go so far and then you're going to get kicked back. And it's just always putting you on. The universe is always just putting you on the path that
Mhm.
is, I think, probably the path of least resistance. But that is not, ironically, what we choose for ourselves. We often put ourselves on the path of the most resistance because we feel like we have to punish ourselves for something. Like if we don't go about it in this strong, buff, hard way, then it wasn't earned, and that's bullshit.
Right. If we didn't suffer for it.
Right, right,
Yes. Yes. Let
right.
let
We
go
shouldn't
of
have to suffer
suffering
for
for your
soup.
progress for one thing. This is a person
Right,
who works out why they're suffering and then goes and makes progress, like not just punishing yourself to make the progress that you want to make, but really knowing yourself well enough to make the progress you want to make without having to struggle too hard.
right. Taking that wand and writing notes, and dip it in some ink and writing some notes with it, Mercury style, and saying what it is that we're getting rid of, what it is that we're not taking from anyone anymore, what it is that we're not putting up with, what it is that we need to have that's positive in our lives in the direction forward, like the path forward.
Yeah.
Yeah. Taken.
Okay, so
It's still like a chariot to me.
coming in, we have emotional and intuitive and connective opportunities, and reflecting on how we feel about what we've already tasted. And going out, we have, pushing too hard, punishing ourselves to make the progress that we want.
Right.
Does that make
Yeah.
sense? Yeah.
Yes. The energy right now says don't push too hard in. I'll give an
Yes.
example. Like I have all this content that I create for all sorts of different things, and it's not even content that I'm putting anywhere. I'm just creating it because creation. And then I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this new thing, and I've got all this ideas for it and everything. And then I was like, oh crap, I forgot I have to do this thing and this thing. Like I got really carried away in this one thing that really got my interest sparked, and all of a sudden I'm like,
Mhm.
yeah, 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 this is awesome, and this is the way. And then it's like, oh yeah, but you have all these other ways that you've been taking and that you've started and that you've agreed to and that you've promised. Your word is your bond. So I was like, oh yeah, that's gonna have to be put on the back burner. And then maybe later on in the day I do work on those other things, and the other thing creeps back up. I'm like, stop it. No, not now. Because I just know that it's not gonna go through, and it seems like it's gonna be about a month or so. So I really can take this time to further curate how I want to see those creative things and take the time to adjust and put them in the way that I like them, as opposed to just feeling like I've got to get them out there now. It's just not the
Mhm.
time to just like get it out there now. Like
Yeah.
and that it's gonna just take off. It's just gonna get out there now and just kind of sit there and then take off a little bit and then come back. And you're not gonna know the real analytics of the thing until you really just take a minute to step back and figure out what it is that you want from it and then push it forward.
Okay, I think that's a good one. I think
Yes.
that's a good note to end on,
Yes.
actually, and I
Yes.
appreciate that coming from you for sure.
So, Thank you so much for joining us here at Astro Insights Live with a live tarot card reading every Sunday at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. Mel is going to start having some special guests besides myself, so I can be down in the comments and talk to people. So I'm looking forward to that about mid-month here. Mel is available Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 7 a.m. Central Standard Time on our YouTube channel for Astrology Today, where she gives you your regular current astrology. And if you'll hit the notification bell, you will find out when I'm the chaos factor on our channel, when I randomly post up spells or superstitions or whatever it is that I'm into right now. And right now I'm into a playlist for this month of March. So I will be posting up in our community posts. So if you subscribe, you'll get those. And you will see the tarot card and the song that I've picked for the energy of the day throughout the month of March, just kind of get us through, get us feeling good, get us thinking about some things. And I hope that you'll join us for all of those things. And I hope to see you back here next Sunday at 10 a.m. for Mel and I to talk about the current astrology and to give you another live tarot card reading. Thank you so much for joining us here. I'm Jennifer Rose, and that is my sweet wife, Mel Rose. And we appreciate you being here today. Take care of yourselves.
Thank you, friends. See you in the next video.